Hello everyone. Yesterday was Thoughtful Thursday at 12:17 now, so it's Friday, but I've yesterday like for Thoughtful Thursday, I'll just bring it on to here. I'm going to read a book, and it's called My Name is Blessing, and it's a little boy who is missing some fingers. I think it's from birth or something. And yeah, and it's actually based on a true story. On top of that. So hopefully everybody will like it. And it's Eric Walters. Um, Eric Walters and illustrated by Eugene Fernandez. Got this from the library. Okay. Mutini watched his grandmother stirring the big pot. He knew there wouldn't be much to eat, but whatever there was would be shared equally among her 9 grandchildren. They lined up, oldest to youngest. Mutini was the last. His grandmother, his Nyanya, placed a small spoonful on his plate. Using the 2 fingers on his right hand, he scooped up some porridge. It was warm and salty, and tasted good as it slipped into his empty stomach. There was only one thing that would have made it better. He wished that his Nyanya had saved some for herself. Most often, she only ate the burnt parts from the bottom of the pot. The cousins ate quietly. In truth, they were more like brothers and sisters than cousins. Over time, they had come to live with their Nyanya and Nyanya when their own parents had died or left. There was never enough money or food, but Mutini knew his Nyanya did her best. She always gave what she had, extra portions for love. Okay, so this one is a page before the one I was reading. And it doesn't show good. I'm just going to put my girl over here. Over here. Okay, let's see if I can show this better. Okay, there you go. Nyanya and her grandchildren. And then this was the other page that I was reading. And there you go. Next page. Mutini's name was hard for him to bear. It meant suffering. That was what his mother had called him before she left. All because he was born with no fingers on his left hand and only 2 on his right. His Nyanya never even seemed to notice the missing fingers. It was one of the reasons he loved her so much. Still, Mutini heard the things that were said. Most were spoken quietly, but not always. There were taunts from children and cruel comments from adults. He tried not to let it hurt, but it still did. But still it did, yeah. There you go. Nyanya, why do I have a few fingers? She glanced up from her work. A thoughtful look came over her face. We are each given more of some things and less of others. I've never met a person with fewer fingers than me. Come, she said. Ruthie moved to her side, and unexpectedly she placed her head against his chest. Yes, it is as I thought. I can hear that your heart is larger than other people's. Is it? Yes, much larger. That is why you can run so fast. Yeah, she's showing him as he's a fast runner. There. She stood up and placed her hand on his head. Slowly she nodded. I was right. Your head and the brains within are bigger than most. That is why you are able to think so clearly. He could think clearly. He was one of the top students in this entire school. And I know you have a greater spirit. I can sense it. She paused. It is so sad that other children only have 10 fingers when you have a larger heart, and bigger brain and great spirit. His smile grew from the sigh. Even if they tease you about having fewer fingers, don't tease them back about you have what you have that they do not, she said. Please use your spirit and your head and your heart. Can you promise me? I promise, he said and wrapped his arms around her. The next day Mutini played soccer with his classmates. The ball never left his foot as Mutini raced up the field, dodging those who tried to take it away. He gave a mighty kick, and everyone watched as the ball soared towards the corner of the net, and just missed. He shot wide. Nobody scores all the time, his cousin Kyoko said. Maybe the next time. Not maybe. The next time he would score. As Mutini trotted up the field, he saw his Nyanya standing at the schoolyard fence. Why was she here, so far from home? He walked toward her, feeling anxious. You are such a good player, Mutini, she said. I didn't score. You can't always have happen what you want to have happen, she said. He noticed the sadness in her eyes. Mutini, it is a long walk to the school for someone as old as I am. Yan Yan, you are not old. You're not that old. She reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. On his shoulder. I am too old to do what I want to do. So now I must do what I have to do. She let out a deep sigh. You and I must go on an even longer walk. I hope you can forgive me. A single tear rolled down his Nyan cheek as she told him her plan. He reached up and with his 2 fingers brushed the tear away. This wasn't what she wanted, and it wasn't what he wanted. There were so many grandchildren to provide for, and she had so little. And Mutini, the youngest, needed the most. He was too young and she was too old. He felt his larger heart understood in his bigger brain that it was what needed to be done. There was no choice. They walked along hand in hand. Mutini's other hand was in the pocket of his tattered shorts. I was a habit. I'm sorry. It was a habit he'd gotten into. He wanted people to see him before they saw his hands. Mutini was working hard to keep his tears inside so he wouldn't upset his grandmother. The walk had been long, and even his young legs felt weary as they trudged, trudged along the dusty road. They stopped at the gates of a little building. There was no sign. Was this the right place? Mutini wondered. Then he heard the sound of children laughing and playing. Nyanya pushed open the gate and they looked inside. The children were well dressed and they all had shoes. Mutini looked down at his bare feet. His clothing was worn and ragged. He felt nervous. A man came toward them. He was smiling. "Hello, my name is Gabriel, and this is my home." He gestured around the yard. "Our home." Mutini looked up at the man. He could see kindness in his eyes. "You have a very fine home," Nyanya said. Okay. I have come to talk to you about my grandson, Mutini." Gabriel looked confused. Why would a child be called Suffering? It was the name given to him before he was left with me. Mutini could see Nyanya's tears were close. "I am so old and we have so little. I have come to ask if there is a place for Mutini in your home." Gabriel gave her a sad smile. "I know how hard it must be for you." He reached out a hand to the boy. "I am happy to meet you, Mutini." Mutini pulled one hand from his pocket and they shook. Gabriel lifted his hand. Slowly he turned it, looking at where the fingers should have been. "Let me see your other hand." Mutini held it out. He felt scared and embarrassed as Gabriel examined it. Gabriel shook his head. "I am sorry, but there is no room for Mutini in my home." Mutini was disappointed but not surprised. How could he expect there to be a spot for him when there were already so many children? "Should I bring him back in a week or two, or in a month?" she asked. "There will not be room in a week or a month or ever. There will never be a room for Mutini in my home," Gabriel said. Mutini's heart dropped. Was it because of his fingers? Whoops, I better show the picture. These are all the kids, and I think that's the guy there with the kids. Yeah, that's the guy. But there is always room for a blessing," Gabriel said. "He would be welcome in our home, not as Mutini, not as Suffering, but as Baraka, as a blessing." "You want me to change my name?" Mutini asked. "I want you to change your future," Gabriel replied. "I can never look at you and see suffering, and I don't want others to see it either. I want them to hear your name and see what I see, what your Nyanya sees, a blessing, Baraka." His grandmother smiled. "That is all I have ever seen." The man held out his hand again. "Hello, my name is Gabriel." Mutini hesitated, unsure of what to do or say. Then he knew. He held the hand with just two fingers and took Gabriel's outstretched hand. "Hello, Gabriel. My name is Baraka, and I am a blessing." That is beautiful. Yeah. Baraka's, okay, so this is actually the end, but there's more here. Baraka's world. Baraka is a real person, and so is Grace, his grandmother, or Nyanya. They live in the Mbuni region of Kenya, a country in East Africa. Their home is outside the town of Kima, which is about 150 kilometers, 90 miles southeast of the capital city of Nairobi. It is a rural area in the mountains that can only be reached by rough dirt roads. Baraka and Grace are members of the Kamba tribe. They speak Kikamba. They, their tribal language, as well as Swahili, one of the official languages of Kenya. Baraka, along with most school-age children, also learn English, the country's second official language. Baraka's English is excellent, and he loves making jokes and playing with words. So there is Baraka right there, and you can see his hands right there. And for me, when it comes to disability, I don't look at that, or people that have things, like they don't call it disability, but people that has things in their life. I've never looked at that. I actually smile, say hi. I don't see that. I've been around a lot of people that has disabilities, but I don't see it, or I don't look for that. It's just the way I am. I'm just like that. I don't, well, he has this and that. No. I usually smile, say hi, and if we do get a conversation, I'll talk to the people. I'm not gonna close my eyes to them. Oh, and I'm just gonna finish this. I'll talk a little more after. The first time I met Grace and her grandchildren. When I first met Grace in 2007, she welcomed me with a smile and her hand in greeting. She was caring for 9 grandchildren who lived with her in her small hut in a place where there was so much poverty they had even less than most. Grace shared a single bed with the girls, while the boys slept huddled together on rags on the dirt floor. Often there was only enough for one meal a day. Sometimes when there was no food, Grace would put a pot of water over the fire to boil and tell her grandchildren, "Supper will be coming," hoping they would go to sleep before they realized there was none. Grace always gave them love and caring, but she knew that she wasn't enough. So this is the guy visiting them on this side, and then that's Grace, I think, with some of her grandchildren. There you go. Yeah. So, this is Grace's place. And that's the bed. When I traveled to Kenya in 2007, I was shocked to learn about the extent of the orphan crisis there. Parents had been lost to illness, disease, and famine, leaving children completely on their own, or to be cared for by often elderly relatives. I discovered that there were over 500 orphans just like Grace, grandchildren in the Buni district alone, a community of only 22,000 people. I decided I had to do something to help. My family joined with the Kenya family in Kenya to found the Creation of Hope. This program now provides residential care for 44 children and financial support for 21 children attending high school. It gives ongoing assistance to over 350 orphans in the community who lives with extended family, supplying monthly food packages, goats, chickens, school uniforms, clothing, beds, and other items to help their basic care. In addition, the program funds water project, providing school supplies and textbooks to the local school, has founded the only library in Rupni district, and helped set up a college to teach nursery school staff. Financial support comes from sponsors in Canada, Germany, the United States, and Kenya, and from the individual donations and fundraising efforts of schools across Canada. 100% of funds from schools goes directly to services. So there's a Baraka's class, sharing a book with Kanini, and then Grace Goat Supplies by Creation Hope. Just right here. This is the school. Yeah, right there. They're selling a book here. And then There's the goats. The newest building, the new Rolling Hill residence, was completed in 2015. Along with being the home for our orphans, it housed the official offices for the program and has a kitchen, dining hall, and separate conference room that is used by the community. At Grace's request, first one grandchild, Kenmini, and then Baraka, then known as Mutini, came to live at Rolling Hills residence. The creation of Hope continues to provide Grace and the remaining children with monthly food packages, support, and a commitment to fund their high school education. Grace has regular contacts with her grandchildren and remains their legal guardian. Grace breeds the goats her grandchildren have been given and sells them to the creation of Hope to be given to other orphans in need. Life for her and her grandchildren has changed from constant desperation to the security in the present and confidence in the future. To find out more, the, to find out more about the creation of Hope, or to get involved, go to the website www.creationofhope.com. Yeah, and there it is here. Yeah, that is it. Second page. There. And one more page. Yeah. Playing with the residence yard, and then Julia with Baraka, and then Eric Walter Autumn. Okay. So Baraka sees his nyanya and cousins on a regular basis. He loves playing soccer, spending time with the other children in the residence, seeing his family dancing and singing. He loves to laugh, and seems to be friends with everybody. Baraka is a dedicated student who wishes to be an engineer when he grows up. He is sponsored by my daughter Julia and her friend Megan, and his future is bright. Baraka is a remarkable young man who has a greater spirit than almost anybody I know. He is a source of inspiration and joy, and he is one of my heroes. Baraka truly is a blessing. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, that's the end of the book. So what I was gonna say is my grandfather helped a lot of people that were homeless. Because even in Canada, there's homeless people, not just in Africa. There's homeless people everywhere. And my grandfather says he wants to start at home before you go other places. So my grandfather, he bought um, it was a camp for children, and so he bought it and decided that he wanted to live among homeless people. He didn't just want to look at them at my bar. He wanted to be in there helping them, doing what he can to help them. And I can tell you, my grandfather was a very busy man because, yes, he was working on that. And then he also helped open a building. Okay, if you guys only okay, the people from Ottawa or Canada, Ottawa might know. Somerset, he opened a building for elderly, and it has like 10 floors. And I've been there as a child, and as I grew up too. You would go at the 10th floor. That's where they had like the big meals and stuff you would have, or any celebration and everything. And I remember as a child going there a lot, a lot, a lot. So you opened that. He also opened something like a soup kitchen in in Hull, uh, Gatineau, Hull, Gatineau. That's in again in Ottawa and Canada, in Quebec. And he opened, he helped open a place called like a soup kitchen, and it has places for homeless to sleep. Uh, Le Gîte Ami, which is in French. Yeah, because I'm bilingual. My dad is French, and so was my grandfather. My mom is the one that spoke English, or that speaks English, I should say. Not spoke. They spoke French. They're not around anymore. But yeah, I lived among homeless people, and some of them had schizophrenia, a lot of health issues, mental issues, alcohol issues, drug issues. I've been through the whole thing. So I've seen a lot, and I learned a lot from living there, and with my grandfather and stuff. Um, yeah, because of things that happened in my life, that's where I end up being after. And my father was living there. My father, so how we would deal with stuff there. My grandfather helped people with the money issues and stuff like that. And it was in the country. My father had a farm a while back, a long time back now. He had a farm, and yeah, my dad was loved to do farming on that uh, grounds, and because we had 9 acres, and we had big gardens that were made. Two men were like my father was one of them. There's another man that was with him that also worked really hard in that over there. So they would open these big, huge like gardens were maybe I'll say what it might be an acre or almost an acre long, and they had this. They would do the fields and work and work and work, and a lot of times they didn't have all electric machines. They did it by hand. The biggest thing that they did grow was tomatoes, so that helped them, us. I mean, all of us, have food. If we couldn't pay for food, we knew we had our. Well, what I liked about it is we had a garden, so you can get food from there and don't have to buy as much at the stores because we had gardens. We've had tomatoes. Most of it was tomatoes, but we had tomatoes. We had carrots. We've had corn. Uh, we've somebody that came back in later on, another homeless person. He grew strawberries. So yeah, we had a variety of things. So we didn't have to buy as many at the store. I think I grew beans at some point. So yeah, it was very versatile. No, we've never done pumpkins. We did underground stuff like carrots. I don't know if we did potatoes, but I can't remember that. But we did a lot of vegetables and stuff. So, oh, eggs. We didn't have to buy eggs. We had chickens. So the chickens would lay the eggs, and we had our eggs from there, which helped a lot because we didn't have to buy that either. When I was a lot younger, my dad had a kind of a barn, and he had sheep, chickens, geese, pheasants. He had goats, female, male, and at some point he had a baby goat, and we had a sheep. We had a sheep one time. What else? Uh, he had pigs. Oh yeah, one of the ones he had tamed them. So we would go to the pigs, and they're just like dogs or cats. They love attention. I would just go to them, and they would lay on their side. Yes, they're all dirty and stuff, but that's why you wear a certain type of clothes. And then I would just rub them, which their hairs are really rough. I just rub them and yeah, touch them. So yeah, um, all around the world there's homeless. There's people, and I find it so cruel that people will just walk by and ignore them. If you can't, at least acknowledge them. Say, yeah, hi, I can't give you money right now. Or if you do have a spare change, and I know some people do it. My grandfather, though, did not like the giving money because for him, it's like people can use it for alcohol, drugs, and all that stuff. But he was always okay with my sister and I. I remember when we were younger, we would eat food and stuff, and we had extra put aside. So there's sometimes when there's somebody out there, I've given them my food just so they had something to eat. So that's why my grandfather always taught me, like, not just to give money, but to like I remember the day talking about my grandfather, and I talk about Thoughtful Thursday, Eldover Friday, whatever. There was a man today that was in a wheelchair on the street. It was cold today. It was cold, like, because we're towards winter, kind of, because we don't have snow. Snow came a little bit and it left. But anyways, there was this guy in a wheelchair asking for the money, and some people were giving him money, And yeah, he would say thank you, and he would call to people, do you have any money and stuff like that. And so um, it was very nice to see that the people that would give him money, like I told my friend Sarah, I said if I had extra money, I would give him some, but I don't. So, but yeah, we have this heart. So yeah, I can only imagine how
So I'm
hard
not
it
the
is
only
over
one.
there. What's that?
I'm not the only one with things like that. It's like most of
Yeah,
the time I don't have spirit change on me. It's like if I did, I definitely would, but I don't.
exactly, exactly. We're kind of poor ourselves, so we struggle, but we try our best to get through the days every day. Sometimes when you don't have much, we work at using what we have to make something out of it. That's what we've done because we're lower end class. Some people are middle, some people are high class. We are in the lowest of the low. So it can be difficult at times. Yes, my husband works. It's not that. It's the money thing. You don't like. I can't work, so that breaks up where like so I'm on like a disability, so the money actually, which a lot of us find restricted here in Canada. But I know that in the States there's some things that are more complicated. I get it. That I don't think we're paid enough, and I don't think it's fair that they completely bring down the money so bad that we were like struggling because our partner works. Because my partner doesn't work full time, and I don't work at all, so it makes it really difficult. So yeah, we live in a, but we like I said, we try to do whatever it takes, save money, whatever, to get what we need. So also I have a lot of health issues. So another thing that my grandfather taught me, not just I learned a lot about being with homeless people, but my grandfather also taught me to take a day at a time. With my health issues, I had like some people say it's not easy to do. No, no, it took me years to be able to take a day at a time. All the like I've had cancer twice. I have things that's going on that I could get cancer if it's not taken care of, which it is. There's just so many things. But anyways, all I have to say is I don't look at the disability in that way. I just keep going. Every day I keep going, but I take one day at a time because I know if I try to say how it's going to happen tomorrow or after that or whatever, that's going to be stressing because we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We're not, what I learned, if we're not tomorrow, we're today. Deal with what we have today, then deal with what we have to do with tomorrow. That's what I do. Or else we stress out. We need to know what's going on tomorrow. Why? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're not there yet. Maybe you'll go to work. Yeah, if you have work on Friday, yeah, you'll go to work. Yeah, that's something that doesn't change. You go up, you get up, you go to work and stuff like that. But do you know exactly 100% what's going to happen every day? No, nobody does. So that's why I had to teach myself to not to stress out because I'd be like one. It was like 2 years, or I was in the hospital for a month and a week because of issues that I have in my health issues. So like if I was trying to rush to get out of there, that wouldn't have worked because I they wouldn't let me go until the right time. So things took a long time, and my kids were missing me, and yeah, so it's not easy. Um, so I'm doing what I'm trying to do my best to stay out of the hospital, but yeah, still a hospital every couple of months. I have to go in and get a like next week is another operation I'm going into yet. So it's a day operation. It's not going to be there for many days, but yeah, it's still risky operation. It's not the operations like the ones that I get. It's not easy. But so yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. My grandfather when he was alive. He also my father saw my son before he died in 1999. Taylor, my oldest. Um, but when he saw him in the incubator because Taylor was premature. He was very small. So yeah, and so my grandfather got to see my second son that passed away, his name was Gowan, and yeah, he passed away after, and yeah, my grandpa, and then my son passed away later. Anyway, so yeah, that then so yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like I have learned a lot living with these people, and they just want to be recognized. They don't want to be like ignored or it's rude because you like pretend that there's no one there, but there's actually someone. Even if you say hi, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now, or something, or I don't have a lot of money, or I mean, that's the best thing to do, be to be nice. That's just things you do. Anyways, if I'm just rambling at this point, but I wanted to bring up that fact or that thing about what I read and about what how I learned stuff. And yeah, so hopefully you liked my story, and I'll come back at some other time, and maybe my son will want to join me. Doesn't I think it depends what we're doing. But yeah, I hope you like this video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.